Yo, what's happening, people? Thank God it's Friday. What's happening? What's happening? Welcome to another episode of the Meathead on the Mic podcast. Hope you guys and girls are enjoying yourself today. I'm chilling. I'm going to go hit some delts and some back later on after this, but I want to deliver some value before I fly off with the last podcast of the week, okay? And this one is titled, The Fastest Way to Lose Your First 5 Pounds. And I titled it that way for a reason, because this is actually the fastest way to not only lose your first 5 pounds, but keep it off. All right, so stick around, stay tuned. We're going to be breaking it down. Let me know how your day is going when you do. Oh, excuse me, I have hiccups. When you do join, okay? And again, as usual, if you have any questions, if you have any comments, you can drop them down in the comment section over there. And I'll get back to you as soon as I'm done recording. Okay, Kwame, what's up? See you there, bro. Yeah, yo. So this is not going to be too long of a video, but I'm going to make it as impactful as I possibly can. What's good, Brittany? I see you there. What is up? What's happening? What's good? What's happening? All right, people. So without wasting any time, I'm going to dive into the podcast. Again, as I said earlier on, if you want to talk, drop questions, ask anything, you're more than welcome to. Just drop it down in the comment section below on whatever platform that you're watching this on, and then I'll get back to you if I have time at the end of podcast recording. Sounds good? Be cool? All right, let's get into it, people. We're going to dive into the podcast in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Yo, what's good, meatheads? Hope you're having an amazing day. Welcome to another episode of the Meathead on the Mic podcast. It's your host, IFBB Pro Matt Butale, coming at you with another topic. Today, we'll be talking about the fastest way to lose your first 5 pounds. But before we dive in, I want to let you know that you're welcome to join the Meathead Monsters Club, which is a free Facebook community where you get to meet other meatheads online. Again, don't forget to screenshot and share this podcast to your IG story to show support. It'll go a long way. I'd appreciate it. Also, if you have any questions you'd like to ask me, or if you'd like to tune into the live recording to see exclusive behind-the-scenes footage, you can search for Matt Butale on Twitter, TikTok, LinkedIn, and Facebook, as well as Instagram. Also, if you want to, check out the extra Meathead content, subscribe to my YouTube channel. That's there for you guys and girls to tap into. Okay, so let's dive into the meat and potatoes, bro. Let's get serious. Let's embrace our inner meathead. Okay, so one thing that I know that is no secret to anybody else that is watching or listening to this podcast is the fact that getting the ball rolling in the right direction can be a headache. Not only because you're not motivated, but it's also because you don't know the right direction. You want to get the ball rolling in the right direction, but you don't actually know the right direction, right? So if that's you, well, you're in luck, because today we're going to be talking about the fastest way to lose your first 5 pounds of body fat. All right, so stick with me. And to your surprise, I promise you guys, it's not as difficult as you think. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to be talking about today, guys and girls, is, I think, if anything, the most important out of all of the things that we're going to talk about for this podcast episode. It's starting extremely small. You want to start extremely small. And yes, I get it. You want to change your entire body. And in order to change your entire body, you must change your lifestyle. And you understand that, which is why you want to jump the gun and make all these humongous changes and things of that sort. But I assure you, you do not need to, as I said, jump the gun. You do not need to reinvent the wheel. You do not need to, in a sense, reinvent your whole entire lifestyle just because you want to, lose weight. And yes, I understand where it comes from. It's like a positive shift, if you will. Mentally, you're looking at it as a benefit to, switch up your lifestyle completely, from top to bottom, starting from scratch. But, what you don't understand is juggling too many balls at once will slow you down dramatically when you inevitably drop one ball. Okay, so one thing I want to tell you is that nobody here is perfect. Nobody here cannot be 100% on every single day, every single year for the rest of their life. At one point in time, whether it's something simple or difficult, you'll lose pace for whatever reason. Life's a bitch. Things happen. You might have to go to the hospital because something happened that you can't control. Maybe it's with you or a family member, or maybe something else happens like COVID, for example, where, most of your, we'll say, outlets when it comes to training and things of that sort have been taken from you. Whatever situation it is, life is a bitch. And if you play at this high level, this high pace of reinventing the whole entire wheel and just being 100% sharp, just think of it. The things that you can control are, I mean, that's great. You can do those things. But when things come, fall out of your hands, when things are no longer in your control, that's when you're in trouble. Okay, so starting extremely small makes it a lot more difficult for things to be out of your control, if that makes sense. Right? And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because typically what happens is when a lot of people, or when people, want to lose weight and they change their lifestyle and they, do a bunch of things that they normally would never do that is not really sustainable for them, when they drop one ball, it makes them feel like a failure. When in actuality, they're pretty much doing everything else right. But the fact that they have so much on their plate, and I dare say too much on their plate, it sort of gives them like a negative feedback when they don't hit the mark on one small thing, right? So if you start smaller, you're able to hit most, if not all, of the targets without stressing yourself out and doing things that are within your control. And you'll have more variables that are within your control because you're starting small. Make sense? Okay, so guys and girls, what I want you to do is to pick one activity that you can commit to at least 3 to 5 days a week. Okay, a small activity. And this is for people that are looking to lose their first 5 pounds. If you've already been hitting the gym, if you've been on a weight loss journey before, this might not be the episode for you. But for those of you that have never tried to get in shape and that are willing to get in shape, this one's for you. Okay, this episode today is for you. All right, so pick one activity that you can commit to, a small one at that, at least 3 to 5 days a week. It could be walking the dog for 15 minutes instead of 10 minutes. It could be hitting a minimum of 5,000 steps a day. And no, I don't expect you to actually count your steps. You can do that with an Apple Watch or your phone. It'll count your steps for you. And 5K steps a day is fairly easy if you work at a job. All right, also 10 minutes of cardio a week. Honestly, just doing cardio workouts on YouTube, that's better than nothing. And that is an example of like starting small. Do something that you can commit to 3 to 5 times a week. That doesn't feel like it's too much for you, but it's different from your current physical activity habits. And honestly, well, if you're losing your first 5 pounds now, you probably didn't have any physical activity habits. And these are honestly like a great start. People often look down on themselves for quote unquote taking it too easy at the beginning, but there's no shame in that, because the whole point is sustainability and consistency. If you're not able to sustain and be consistent with any routine, you'll never get the long-term benefits. And the long-term benefits is what you're here for, because you don't only want to lose the 5 pounds, you want to keep it off. Make sense? All right, and that sort of brings us into our second thing, which is sort of related to what we just talked about, but this is more on the nutritional side of things. Do not make any massive changes to your nutrition. When I say massive changes, I mean like literally saying a bunch of foods are garbage that you can't eat, even if they're like wholesome, healthy foods. Like, for example, I've seen people say rice is bad. I've seen people say white bread as opposed to whole wheat. I've heard people say so many things, sweet potato instead of regular potato, when in actuality, these foods that I just mentioned, these whole foods, they're not bad. You should have both of them if you're asking me, really. But what I've noticed is when I hear people and when I see people say, or when I hear people or notice people doing, like making dramatic changes in their nutrition, it's based off of like social media trends. Okay, so this one that I'm talking about right now pertains to nutrition. Okay, if you give yourself no breathing room with the foods that you're allowing yourself to eat, you will suffocate your taste buds with the lack of options. I'm going to repeat that again for you guys and girls. Okay, if you give yourself no breathing room with the foods that you're allowing yourself to eat, you will suffocate your taste buds with the lack of options. And when you get bored of food, which is what I'm using the term suffocate your taste buds with the lack of options. So when you lose, motivation, or you get bored of eating the same foods, what's going to happen is you're going to stray away from that and probably end up eating a whole bunch of shit you're actually not supposed to be eating, like junk food and stuff, because you're so sick and tired of the food selections that you've given yourself, which is natural. Like, if I was eating the same exact meal every single day going forward, I'd go fucking insane. And I'm a pro bodybuilder, right? All my meals have variety in them. Whether it's I change the carb, whether it's I change the protein source, whether it's I change pretty much anything about it. But the one thing that stays true to everything is the amount of nutrients, so the macronutrients, and of course the calories overall per bowl, right? The things that are going to dictate my level of success with whatever objective goal I have with, you know, my fitness, my body, whatever I'm trying to do, whether I'm trying to gain muscle or get ready for a show and get cut, get shredded, the numbers always make sense and add up, but the variety of food and the selection of food, that varies depending on how my taste buds, you know, feel, essentially. How I feel with eating certain foods, right? Because if I force myself, and this is something that I've noticed, if I force myself to eat foods that I really don't want to eat over and over again, like for me, for someone of my personality type, I'm able to get it done, but it's a lot more difficult. And I hate difficulty when it comes to eating, because I already go through so much difficulty training, right? And you guys and girls may relate to that too. You know, you just want everything to be seamless, easy, follow it, you know, you enjoy it, and you get your results, and you're happy, right? Like, that's what we want, right? But when you give yourself no breathing room, okay, and you only say, I can only eat fucking these foods, and every other food is bad, you're literally putting a ticking time bomb and setting it for whenever you get your next craving. And then you're going to overeat, you're going to binge, you're going to overindulge into things that you know you should have been eating that do not align with your nutritional goals, that will not help you lose, you know, fat, burn fat. Okay. So when adjusting your meal plan, you want to stick to whole foods that you like to eat. Okay. Whole foods that you like to eat. Again, some protein source examples would be chicken breast, would be any kind of fish, any kind of poultry for that matter, or even beef, right? Protein sources that are whole foods. And then you've also got, maybe if you're on the go, protein powder, that can work. For carbs, you also have rice, potatoes, breads, pastas, and different kinds of them at that too, right? Okay, so there's literally so many foods you can select from to compile a proper meal plan that abides to your taste buds and will not be, or at least will not make it as difficult for you to, you know, stick to. Okay, because again, like, this is something that I've seen a lot in you know, especially the fitness space nowadays. People, instead of creating a nutrition protocol that will work best for them, they're just following whatever trend is out there, like keto, veganism, being paleo, etc., whatever it is. Okay, and they realize that they're following these trends not because they actually like them, but because they see the people that have followed those trends, you know, they have like a body that they want or whatever, or it's just marketed well. And they say, okay, well, I guess keto is the way to be if you want to look like whatever fitness model, whatever the fuck, whoever is inspiring you to do this shit, right? Or veganism, you know, you want to look like that girl with the booty that's vegan, so you're going to fucking eat vegan, right? So the thing is this, I'm not shitting on any other type of, I guess, dietary preference, but the best dietary preference is the one that you can stick to while burning fat, and not feel like you're in a box, and not feel like you're suffocating your taste buds with the lack of options. Does that make sense? Okay, does that make sense, guys and girls? If that does, let me know in the comments below if you're watching this live, and if you're listening to this on the podcast, just nod your head silently. Okay, I'd recommend eating clean foods at least 80% of the time, and freestyling it like about 20% of the time. Okay, but everything is accounted for in calories, so you will still burn fat. So even when you're eating the 20% being junk food or whatever crap, you know, you're factoring those calories in. So even though you're not eating quote unquote clean per se, like they are not the example whole foods that I've listed earlier on, because they do cater to your caloric requirements and your macronutrient needs, it will keep you in check and still progressing while still allowing you to, we'll say, quench your thirst or get over with your craving for whatever food it is, if it's pizza, if it's ribs, if it's wings, whatever the thing. Okay, but it gets tricky as well, because especially if you're like brand new to this, you don't know when to have your 20%. You don't even know how to have your 20% in terms of factoring it in and counting the calories and all that stuff. So that's something that I would stray away from. It's like those people that always look forward to cheat days and cheat meals, right? But you're just getting started. So I would recommend just focusing more on the 80%, and if anything, bringing it to 90 or 100% for like a week, 2 weeks. And then when you get used to counting your food, when you get used to counting your macros, things of that sort, then and only then, when you understand how to deal with calories and macros, should you be incorporating the 20%, and, you know, give it to yourself as a treat after you do those hard ass fucking workouts. Okay, like, don't just do it for the sake of doing it. All right, but you have to make sure that even on your 20%, everything is accounted for in calories, so that you still burn fat and you still are headed in the direction that you need to go. Again, by using I guess the 20% as a treat. Once you push yourself through a workout to eliminate that sense of guilt, eat responsibly, but treat yourself 20% of the time, because we're human beings. And like, put it this way, if you didn't treat yourself 20% of the time, you're going to want to force it through anyway if you try to be 100% with your nutrition anyway. And that's even worse, because then when you want to treat yourself after being so strict, you just overindulge and you eat till you get sick and you feel guilty and you feel like shit. So it's better to, we'll say, mitigate that and factor it in to a healthy, wholesome nutrition protocol than like, as opposed to just not eating fucking junk food until you want to eat junk food and then you eat the whole fucking house, right? So give yourself a bit over time, 20% of the time, but 80% of the time, stick with whole foods that your body's going to digest easily, and that you can meal prep and have pretty much easy access to. Okay, so that's the other thing I wanted to bring there. And this one is actually, this is very important. What I'm going to talk about now is really, really, really important, especially if you want to lose 5 pounds or more, and the reason being is because of the people or the things that you saw on social media. Okay, so this one, guys and girls, I just want to keep it a stack. I want to be honest with you. You've got to be lenient with yourself. As cheesy as this fucking sounds, it's true. It's true for you, and it's true for me. Your first 5 pounds may come off within 1 week or 1 month. We're all different. But just because your friend or your neighbor or whoever the fuck it was able to lose 5 pounds in 3 days doesn't mean you will too, and it doesn't mean you won't. Okay? It also doesn't mean that you're a failure because you can't get results as quickly as someone else. Because you'll always be you. And you've got to forgive yourself if you've ever beaten yourself up about this, because of this thinking pattern of, well, so-and-so is able to do it in this time. I can't do it in this time, so maybe I'm a failure, or maybe this is not for me, or my genetics are fucked up, or I've got this thyroid problem. And then you start giving yourself all these weird self-diagnoses because you don't really understand why you're in the position that you're in. And the fact of the matter is that you're just fucking you. You're different. They're different. And that's assuming that they're telling the truth. Because on social media, it's not always what it seems. Okay? Like, those people posting those transformation pictures, I'm pretty sure some of them are honest and some of them are not honest. I don't believe everything I see on the internet. Okay? Neither should you. But even if, just for the benefit of the doubt, saying that they're being honest, it still doesn't make it valid for you to basically step on yourself and talk down on yourself because you're not achieving something as fast as somebody else. It's literally the whole theme with social media that I've noticed nowadays. One person achieves something at a super young age or something super impressive, and now you just feel like you're behind because you don't have that thing, and you believe that you should. Fear of missing out, FOMO. Right? So be lenient with yourself. Understand that your journey is fucking yours, and that you will always be you. You will always be you. That it's just what it is. Okay? You got to be lenient with yourself. Otherwise, that bitch in the brain mindset, that voice in the back of your head that tells you that you're not fucking doing anything correctly or that you're never going to make it, is going to win. So understanding that what you see out there that other people are projecting has little, if anything, to do with you at all, has nothing to do with you. Okay? Once you really get a grip on that, it'll be easier for you to accept your progress at your rate, at your pace. Make sense? And speaking of progress, monitor your progress, guys and girls. There is no way to know how much you're progressing or how much you're not progressing unless you are aware of the variables. Okay, and no, it doesn't only mean the scale. It doesn't only mean, so like, yeah, you want to lose 5 pounds is the fucking title of the podcast. We get it. But it doesn't only mean that 5 pounds is a marker of success. Okay? 5 pounds is, if we're looking at the scale, a variable. Weight, the number, the scale, it's a tool you can use to get a variable, which is, in this case, weight, but it's not the only variable. Okay? Other variables are strength, if that's increasing, or is that decreasing? Endurance, is that increasing, is that decreasing? The ease of completion for your exercise, like, is it easier for you to complete than it was last time? Okay, maybe it's time to do a little bit more, right? These are all measures, or these are all variables you can use to measure your progress. Clothes even, do your clothes fit better now? Okay, are you more confident than you were a couple of weeks ago, a couple of months ago, because of you taking responsibility of your physical activity? These are all markers of progress. It's not just your 5 pounds. Okay, it's the 5 inches on the waist. All right, it's the extra 5 pounds you're able to lift. It's the extra 5 minutes you're able to run. It's a lot of fives. But jokes aside, it's, just to be honest with you, not the only measurement. Weight is not the only measurement. Okay, it should never be. That's what I want to finish off with today. Yes, we all want to lose 5 pounds as quickly as possible. All right, but if you don't apply these things that I just talked about, it might take you forever to get the ball rolling, if you even get it rolling. All right, and say you get the ball rolling, but you don't apply these things that I've talked about, it may actually be impossible to commit to I guess keeping the ball rolling, for the lack of a better metaphor, and keeping the weight off and continuously progressing. It'll be impossible to commit and continue progressing if you do not apply the things that we just talked about in today's podcast episode. Make sense? All right. So now it's time for you to take action, people. If you like this episode, share it out with a friend. I hope I was able to deliver a valuable experience to you today. All right. So thank you so much for your precious time and attention. If you want to join the Natural Nomad Academy and lose 5, 10, 15, 25 pounds, you can shoot me a DM on any of the social media platforms that I mentioned earlier on. Just search for Matt Butali. You'll be able to find me. And feel free to DM me. I'll see if you'd be a good fit to join the Natural Nomad Academy. P.S. I will not be monetizing this podcast. I don't want to put ads in this shit because I respect your time. And I want you to just get the value that I have to deliver each and every single day, Monday to Friday. Okay? Also, don't forget to screenshot and share this podcast to your IG story to show support. I would really, really, really fucking appreciate that. Let's embrace your inner meathead together. All right? It's been nice chatting. Hope you like what today's topic was about. Natural IFBB Pro Matt Butale signing out. Boom. All right, folks. Podcast is recorded, so I'm going to look at a couple of questions here real quick and answer them. Starting off with TikTok. Let's see what we got here. Creatine or not? Yes, creatine, dude. Use creatine. I appreciate the follow. Thank you. Sup, bro? What are you wearing, bro? What are you teaching, bro? If you stuck around, you'd know. I hope you stuck around so you learn. Hey, do you mind making a video of you doing the workout in your secret leg day? Yeah, actually, I do have a couple of videos recorded in my vault that I have to upload from onto YouTube very soon that already do include those workouts, because I actually do that workout. Any of those cheat codes you see, I actually do them. Okay, so I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you for tuning in there. Appreciate the roses too, man. I'm not going to answer that dream card question right now because it just doesn't matter, but I appreciate you. Thanks for joining. What do we got here on the gram? My boy Misfer says, how can a guy who has a great physique transition over to becoming a personal trainer or monetize his ability to get people in shape? So it's not even a transition. That's again, this question's far off topic. It's not a transition because if you already have a great physique, you're eating well, you're training well, so you're not transitioning over into being a personal trainer. You're just being, we'll say, a professional version of what you already are. Because, well, I mean, you're already in shape. You eat well, okay? And people are likely asking you for advice anyway in the gym if you're doing things right. And if they're asking you for advice in the gym and you're answering, you're usually giving away that info for free. The difference between a personal trainer and somebody that just looks good and gives advice is one of them has a price tag for the information they offer, right? So it's not really a transition, in my opinion. Yeah, so to monetize it, again, like it's you've got to know what you're doing, first of all, and second of all, you got to pay for help. I'll say that much, because running a business is not as easy as people think it is. Like, you think, oh, I'm my own boss, I get to like sit around and do whatever the fuck I want. Like, nah, you're actually going to work more than you've ever worked in your entire life, but the reward is going to be worth more than anything in your entire life that you've ever worked for. So it balances out, but it's not as easy as you think. I'd recommend looking into hiring a mentor for that, bro. Joel, I appreciate you for joining. Homie says, do I need a certification? A certification will help, especially in personal training if you want to train people in person. Gino Games, what's good? Anj, what's up? What's up, Dylan? What's happening? Tyson, I see you, boy. Homie also says, caloric deficit, lift weights, hit training, or any other type of regular cardio. I guess you're adding on to what I was saying there, so yes, I approve of that. Mike, what's good? However, what's happening? Portion size help for me, right? So that's starting small, right? Fist size measurements, right? Without actually using food skills and things of that sort, right? These things, starting small, can really, really, really help you out. Homie says I went from 244 to 165. Salute to you, homie. That's a big fucking transformation. Damn near 100 pounds. It's wild, bro. Yo, homie, I see you. What's up? Thanks for joining. Kwame Solo says, the tip about major changes to your nutrition is very important. Absolutely. I think so as well, which is why I had to share it. Yeah, homie, he knows it's the truth. Gabriel, what's happening? Simran, what's good? Pat, hey, what's good, Hayden? So this generation is all trend-based. 100% fucking avocado toast. You already know what I'm talking about when I say that. Shit. All right, folks. Drinking water should be a trend. I know. You're trolling me. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, you know what's happening. All right, folks. Homie asks, any apps recommended for tracking strength? I wouldn't use an app. I've never used an app to. Ooh, that's a lie. I did use an app once to track my strength, but that was a while back. That was, I think it was a Body Space or bodybuilding.com. I'm talking a while ago. What is that now? Maybe, what was that? It was almost 10 years ago. It was like 8 years ago I used to use that. But what was it? So, I was following a workout program and I was logging the reps and the weight that I was able to do at the time. And I wasn't actually doing it with the intention of trying to get stronger, if that makes sense. It was just okay, well, this is what I did today. And I was always pushing myself anyway. And if I was able to get those numbers, I was like, okay, cool. Fuck, that's awesome. But I never really pushed myself in an app and fucking, but it's definitely possible and it's useful to do now. Some people do it the old school way with notepads. You know what I'm saying? Notepads, yeah. Notepads, or what I use nowadays is the notes on my phone, just because it's easy. I'll remember what I did, or at least I'll make all my notes of what I'm supposed to do, and then go into the gym, and whatever I didn't do, I'll just edit that part. And if I did everything, then cool, I don't have to edit it. But yeah, I would always go into the gym with a mindset of this is what I'm going to do today. And it may be heavier than last week, or maybe I'll have a little bit more volume, more intensity than last week. But I pretty much lay everything out and then go into it and then see what I missed. Typically, I don't miss anything because I know what I'm capable of, and I'm only going to put down on that list what I'm capable of. Even if I am improving, I'm going to only improve at an increment or at a rate where I know I'm capable of actually succeeding with that improvement, whether it's more reps or more weight. Let's see here. So he says, I remember Body Space now. It was distracting to use. Yeah, for me, again, whenever it comes to logging down anything, I think it's quite distracting. I prefer either doing it beforehand or way after. If it's way after, I'm not really too confident in my memory, so I won't commit to that. I'll be honest with you, but I'll commit to doing it way before the workout or the week before or something. Just label out everything and say I'm supposed to hit this, that, and this for these many reps and these types of workouts. And if I don't, which is rare, but it happens sometimes, I'll go back into my notes and edit that. And that's if I'm really looking to pick up on my strength. But right now, I'm pretty okay with my strength. And it's increasing slowly, but it's increasing. So there's no need for me to, push for that, given that I'm not a power lifter or anything of that sort. So strength is going up, but I'm not forcing it, right? Everything is taking its gradual progression. But again, mentally, I'm making sure that I'm actually putting in that conscious effort to progress. Homegirl asked me, you in Canada? Yes, I'm in Canada. Leg day today. Yo, I'm praying for you, dog. You're going to be handicapped by the end of the workout because that shit is pain. It's real pain. I did it yesterday. I did it Monday. And then I had to do it again yesterday. And I was still in pain for Monday. So good game, bro. Fucking stay alive. All right, folks. That's it. That's all I've got for y'all today. I'll be back again on Monday. You already know the deal. All right. So that's the last podcast episode for the week. Hope y'all have the sickest weekend of your fucking life. Homie says, I saw you 3-plate squats. Yeah, so 3-plate, that was 3-plate front squats. 3-plate front squats, yeah, but usually the back squats, I get up to 4. I don't do more than 3 plates on front squats anymore. Just don't want to do that shit. Just fucking leave it to one day. But yeah, man, you better fucking crush that shit. Let me know how you feel after the workout for sure. You're definitely going to be busted, all right? And you got to humble yourself. You don't use all the weights that you think you can lift because the volume is unreal. Okay, so get it done. All right, have a sick pump, have a sick weekend, bro. You know what it is, Jay. We out.